what's been banned. It's Nidalee.
Gee, that's a shock, but not a big one.
I'm a bit surprised that they would ban that Nidalee because we know Faker can play it as well. And Zed and Ari taken out immediately from the pool. Renekton down also. So SK Telecom going to be having a very different strategy. Will they take the Shen again this game? And no, Zyra first pick for Mondu, the support of choice.
It's understandable. Mondu is probably the best Zyra in Korea right now, you know, if not the world. He's a fantastic Zyra player. But at the same time, once in a while, he has like really awful moments. But I think overall, he's a very good Zyra player.
Yeah, that Ezreal being grabbed away, as well as that Elise, no surprise there. And I don't think they're going to. That's not right. Okay, there we go.
That's not right. Not allowed. Monte Cristo says no.
That is the wrong answer to picks and bans, though.
That's right. Incorrect. I'm going to give him an F.
Okay.
F for Faker.
Yeah, that. Now the question is, what is Piglet going to run? Of course, Caitlyn and Vayne, his go-to champions.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see either one of those.
Yeah, Caitlyn probably going to come in here just because that Caitlyn Zyra lane is absolutely terrifying, and probably SK Telecom wants to make sure they can win the laning phase pretty handily this time around. Gives you a lot of good options. So Bengi going on the staple Lee Sin pick. Probably again, it is open and available and his pick of choice. As of the World Championships, used to play a lot of Jarvan, used to play a lot of Elise, but he's switched it up. His main now definitely the Blind Monk. And there we go. Actually, we will see the Vayne come in.
All right.
And, of course, SK Telecom T1 loves to solo split push with that Vayne.
I was kind of wondering a little bit if we'd see the Vi too from Bengi, but I guess not. Looks like we will see probably a Rumble for Chunju. It is his best champion. Banned against him quite a bit.
Yeah, and it did come out in their games against their sister team Ozone, and Chunju did a very good job of creating nice zones with his Rumble ultimate, the Equalizer. I'm excited to see it again. Thresh.
Speaking of zones, there's the box maker.
The box
Thresh.
maker.
I don't know if that's not, you don't see that in like the champion spotlight. Thresh, the box maker. I don't think that's the term.
It's not intimidating enough.
Not really.
Well, very good early dragon control here for Samsung Blue with Thresh, Elise, and Rumble. So we can expect to see some probably pretty early dragon attempts in this game. And Gragas will be picked up. And Tryndamere for impact in the top lane. This is a crazy split pushing comp we've got going on right here.
Yeah.
They're going to have an extremely strong 3-1-1. Faker will be able to clear out the lane if there's a siege with Gragas, and they're going to be able to split push solo lanes with Vayne and Tryndamere. This is very aggressive, and in response, they may pick up an assassin. Here we go, an assassin in order to try and deal with this situation, but it's going to be difficult to obviously assassinate that Tryndamere. Ziggs would be okay for wave clear on the side lanes, actually.
It would be. We've seen like one good Ziggs, and he did use his ultimate a lot for that. I think that would be an interesting choice.
Yeah, the question here, there's a small possibility it could be a mid lane Tryndamere and a top lane Gragas. We'll have to see how the trades actually work out. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we do have that Fizz pickup right here. I'm not sure that's going to be the correct answer, just because, of course, with Tryndamere's Undying Rage, it can be difficult to assassinate him. But with Ari and Zed banned out, there aren't a whole lot of other choices.
Yeah.
And this is going to be interesting. We have never seen Impact play Tryndamere before.
I can't believe we're actually seeing a Tryndamere. I mean, that's kind of a solo queue staple for a lot of regions, but not something we see in the pro scene all that much, especially in Korea.
There have been some examples in the EU and NALCS. Voyboy likes to run that top lane Tryndamere from time to time. The problem is that Tryndamere is very one-dimensional. You are going to split push with him, and you're going to split push hard.
Well, we'll see if it works out. There's our lineup for game number 2. SK Telecom putting their WCG hopes in the hands of Tryndamere,
the Barbarian King.
That's right. And here we go, guys. The game is loading up. It is time. Can SK Telecom come back and tie up the series, force at game 3? Or will MVP Blue end the run of the World Championship team? We're about to find out. Do not go anywhere. Tell all your friends to watch as well. WCG Korea, game number 2, starting now. All right, here we go, guys. Game number 2, SK Telecom T1 versus Samsung Blue here on WCG Korea, our first semifinal match of the Korea National Finals.
Well, I really like the composition that we're seeing come out of SK Telecom T1. It is pretty one-dimensional. Like I was saying, you pretty much have to use Tryndamere just solely for split pushing, and they have a choice to do the 3-1 split push, 3-1-1 split push rather, with Piglet on Vayne here. But also, Gragas and Vayne have a ton of synergy. You can split up a fight and create mini duels for Vayne to really capitalize on her 1v1 potential after using the explosive cask for disruption. So I really like what we're seeing so far. Gives SK Telecom a couple options into how seriously they want to split push. And if they do 3-1-1, of course, Faker able to wave clear quite easily, and the good disengage from Zyra should keep him pretty safe under a turret.
Yep.
On the other side, Samsung Blue, they're going to have to pretty much all in people under towers in order to stop the split push from being effective. And I am a bit concerned because Fizz takes a time to ramp up, and so does Tryndamere, but in the late game, and even in the mid game, Fizz is not going to be able to stop that Tryndamere split push. So maybe a champion that didn't have such a hard ramp time would have been more ideal here.
That vision ward way in the jungle. SK Telecom is kind of interesting from Samsung Blue.
Yeah, Samsung Blue, if you remember, this is a team that always has creative level ones. They have, back in the day, they always had such a high kill rate at level 1. Now, we haven't seen their kind of crazy level 1s where they would all flash a wall and wait to brush to kill somebody in a long time, but
I like it.
They've always been one of the better teams at level 1s here in Korea.
Well, here we go. We're going to get that 2v2 up in the top lane. Sense taking a little bit of poke from Mondu and Piglet. And that Vayne Zyra lane from Mondu and Piglet, easily one of the most dangerous lanes in the game right now. You gotta be really careful. You're deft in Sense.
Okay, well, it's like Bengi is going to go ahead and try and steal this blue buff right here. It'll be noticed immediately by that ward, but yeah, no big deal because Spirit does have the good warding down on the blue buff of his opponent, so he'll be able to go ahead and get that should he want it. It looks like he's actually going to come over here and contest this blue buff. This is a bit of an interesting path right here taken by Spirit.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's up to. Okay, he already got the blue buff, excuse me, at the level 1 when they went in, so has the double buffs already. And going to be just wrap around and clear out his Golem camp and make sure that that blue buff will get back up as fast as possible.
Right. And so far, Mondu and Piglet have this top lane pushed up pretty far. You need to be careful, though. They do not want to get Death Sentence under the turret.
Yeah, good eyes so far on to Bengi. They have a very good idea of where he is in this jungle. And Faker actually not doing too great of a job of shoving Pawn out right here on matching him in terms of CS. Not getting too much of a zone down, and actually Faker allowing the wave to move back towards him. I think he's a little worried about Spirit right now as well.
Yeah, wants to have a little bit more room in that mid lane to back off if he needs to. And speaking of Spirit, there he is. He did get spotted by that minion in the front, though, yeah. Yeah, they were showing. I bet he did have vision of him just a moment ago.
Yeah, he was playing. He's playing pretty cautiously, and he probably wants the lane to go ahead and push back towards him as well, so he has higher kill potential onto Fizz when Bengi comes.
Yep. And so Faker just waiting to do a little bit more farming into the turret. Whoa. Never mind.
Okay. Well, not a whole lot of action here so far. Just generally good warding and good ideas of where the enemy junglers are, so they haven't been able to really capitalize on that. Spirit looking for the first gank of the game right here, though. Yeah,
Impact on the run, though. He knows he's coming. Can they catch him? Their Impact activates. It goes nice dodge on the Cocoon, and he's going to get away. That would have been first blood for sure. Meanwhile, Bengi and Faker coming in, trying to get that first blood on Pawn. Barely can't get him with the barrel. Oh, that was close. That cask almost got Faker a little bit of revenge.
Would you say that he barely missed?
Barely missed it, yep.
And in the bottom lane, too, Chunju really telegraphed that gank hard. Impact knew from his change in behavior. He was previously freezing underneath that bot lane turret.
Oh, Faker maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Spirit jumping onto him, Pawn. There's the Ignite. Faker running away back to the safety. of the loving embrace of Lee Sin.
That's right.
Safe now.
Safe in Lee Sin's arms.
That's right.
Well, Mondu and Piglet doing a good job of shoving this lane very hard early on, creating that pressure with the plants right underneath that turret. Bengi there, just in case. Spirit tries to take advantage of this shove. Good ward in the tri-brush. Bengi smites the golem and heads back around. Were they going to go after this?
Yeah,
Deft is quite low.
Whoa! Meanwhile, first blood taken by Chunju.
Chunju just going for the 1v1 right there.
Yeah, he got it.
Chunju also hitting level 6 off of that, not even having to use the equalizer there. That was probably a mistake by Impact, given the state of things in that bottom lane.
Yeah, certainly seems that way.
It doesn't
level 6 a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that much, though. Impact now coming back with a Vamp Scepter. You can die a lot as Tryndamere, and as long as you can just continually apply pressure to a lane, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Pawn and Spirit pushing back that mid lane now.
Pawn doing a surprisingly good job again of farming in this mid lane, though. That's going to help him out a lot. So let's check out what happened right here. Yeah. Impact just really overcommitting.
Just it seems like he just underestimated the amount of, or overestimated the amount of damage he could do there.
He also couldn't heal up very much because Ignite was down on him. So that looks like a mistake that Impact made because he's not used to playing Tryndamere, not entirely comfortable with the champion yet, not really knowing the limits.
Yep. Ideally, you get all those deaths because you don't know your champion's limits done before you play in the pro matches.
Yeah, and look at this too. They know the summoners are down still for Impact. Chunju has his flash up. He also has level 6. This might be a pretty easy kill. Spinning Slash is on cooldown.
Yeah, they're in trouble. There we go. Impact getting jumped on. Can they get him? He's in a lot of trouble now. Yeah, no escape for Impact at all. Oh, Spinning Slash, not enough. And at the same time, Piglet goes down. And Mondu, they're going to get the double. There's the flash. The flash response from Deft. A double kill for Deft, and he's actually going to escape. But here comes Faker for the revenge kill. Can SK Telecom get their first kill of the game?
Oh,
that is really
this
tricky.
Is the death sentencing.
Yep. Oh, Deft.
Oh, he denied
the
kill.
It to Mondu.
Faker was so unwilling to use his ultimate right there that he thought he could get it, but look at that. He managed to dodge the barrel, dodge everything that Faker had, and therefore Mondu coming up with the kill, and that is not good. In the meantime, just free farm all day.
Oh, Sense just jumping on him. There's a box. Thresh 1v1 versus Gragas. Sense needs to make a run for it, though. Nice dodge for the body slam. Wow, what a duel. Sense eventually going to be taken out by Faker, I think, here, but man, that was some impressive dueling from Sense.
Yeah, Bengi,
that's what I like to see.
And there we go. The tower going to fall in that bot lane. Ping's already going down for Samsung Blue onto this dragon.
Yeah.
And they will have no problem taking this one.
Man, what a series so far for Samsung Blue. They're going to get the first dragon,
Impact,
no problem.
Impact died again in that bot lane as well. Look at this. They set him up with the equalizer.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have to use it during the last fight. They immediately take advantage of that again. And Impact just getting punished here. Never hitting level 6. He's still only level 5, Doa.
Yeah, I guess
Chunju is level 8.
I guess that's one way to shut down a Tryndamere, is just never let him hit level 6. Wow, and there's a dragon, already a 3,000 gold lead for Samsung Blue at 9 minutes.
This is an incredibly dominant performance by Samsung Blue.
Yeah.
And props to Pawn, too, for weathering the storm in the mid lane. 2 games in a row. He is looking like he's going to get pretty scary right here. Blue buff taken. And Faker and Bengi coming in, though.
Yeah, oh, Impact. And they're going to get the slow onto Pawn with that mocking shout. Def in a little bit of trouble, comes in with Thresh, though. Def gets another kill. Mondu on the run. Sense going to help him out with this one. There's the ward to keep the vision in the brush. Really nicely done. He's going to go down for sure. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, goodbye, Spirit. Another kill for SK Telecom. Pawn. There's the Ignite, the level 6 finally up.
Double, triple kill!
No way, Pawn! Pawn is the new Faker. I guess that's just how this is.
Oh, and that is exactly what you don't want to give a Fizz at this point. He doesn't even have his Sheen yet. That was some pretty Terrible positioning from SK Telecom T1 to set themselves up for that playful trickster. They thought they could make the dive, but now at only 10 minutes into this game, it is 10-3 in favor of Samsung Blue with a commanding lead.
This is absolutely nuts right now. A 2-0-1 Rumble, a 3-0-0 Fizz, 3-1-1 Def. Let's watch that fight in the bot lane again.
Yeah, taking out Bengi first, and look, Impact getting hit by the tower. Pops his Undying Rage, but again, his healing halved thanks to that Ignite. Wow. And Faker in the wrong place at the wrong time underneath a playful trickster.
That was actually an ace of SK Telecom at like 9 minutes, by the way.
Oh my, yeah, just cross-map kills. And Deft, I mean, I said before this match started, he has a huge reputation as an Ezreal player here in Korea. And look at this, Samsung Blue.
Again. They're caught. There's the equalizer. Death sentence misses, but I don't think it matters. Goodbye, Piglet. Mondu in a lot of trouble as well, trying to get underneath that turret, but it's not going to help. Goodbye, Mondu.
Chunju.
20 minutes. Surrender 20, I guess.
This is brutal. SK Telecom T1 getting absolutely destroyed by Samsung Blue here.
Yeah. A lot of frustration on the faces of the SK Telecom players right now. And man, I am so impressed by Samsung Blue. Faker, and look at the response for that playful trickster, man.
And they don't even get to play Lucian, which is the champion that really got them here. I mean, Deft playing so much. Lucian in the earlier qualifier, Samsung Blue takes out yet another turret, and they will keep on moving up in terms of gold. It is looking grim for SK Telecom T1. It's going to be a while before they can get any kind of split push going because Impact is so far away from that Blade of the Ruined King right now.
I know we were talking about a 2-0 at the start of this cast today, but we weren't exactly talking about it in this regard. And
you know what?
Yes, SK Telecom.
You'd think we'd learn better by now because every time here in Korea we're like, oh man, this match is just going to be horribly one-sided. It is either close or, you know, surprising.
I feel like KT Bullets taught us that lesson many times, but apparently we still haven't learned it. And they grab Faker. Can they capitalize on it? Not quite yet. I love this, though. I love that when SK Telecom looks on top of the world, when they win the World Championships, we see another team come up. The skill level in this scene is just absolutely astounding.
Yeah, and it changes up so frequently, too.
Yeah.
Teams tend to rise and fall pretty rapidly.
Which is great. I love it.
With very few teams ever able to stay on the top consistently, you know, Frost and Blaze being the two notable exceptions.
We were talking about this a couple days ago. We were like, well, it looks like SK Telecom, you know, are we going to have our first, you know, or another like big long-standing dynasty here in the Korean scene? And this match really makes you wonder. I mean, no doubt SK Telecom is still one of the strongest teams in the world, but they are just straight up getting outplayed today.
Yeah, and they're making mistakes, yes, but Samsung Blue is also just playing very, very well. Yeah. They're making the proper play calls. Their rotations have been really nice.
It's been
in the last, you know, in the 2 games so far in this series.
Yeah, it's been much more Samsung Blue playing well than SK Telecom playing bad.
It's also, we talk about a lot of teams can get through the laning phase. You know, that's where you pretty much, you know, learn the ropes in solo queue. And the real challenge for professional teams is closing games and making good rotations in the mid game and being able to take that advantage and run away with it. And Samsung Blue is demonstrating a very good ability to do that here today.
Yeah, they are snowballing this game pretty adequately. Well, I don't know, what do you say after a first 13 minutes of a game like this?
And Bengi, you can tell too, he's actually deviated from his normal Boots of Mobility build here because he needs that extra tankiness. He's just not able to make plays on the lanes this game. And so he's got to do something else instead. So a little bit of an adaptation here from the T1 jungler. And even Piglet, who is typically rock solid.
0-3-0, and they're going to jump onto Chunju. He's going to get back under turret. Not able to get that kill.
And here we go, 14-minute Lich Bane on Fizz. That is not something you see that often. Typically, Fizz is pretty good if he gets one at 20 minutes. But this time around with those 3 kills and having equal farm to Faker's Gragas, he is just on a roll.
Yep. And can they get this turret? The siege coming in. Looks like they'll won't quite be able to get it right now, but we'll see if it happens in the near future. A lot of damage coming in on Mandu from that two-shot barrage.
Yeah, they're playing this very conservatively as well. You can see Fizz not using any of his abilities right there to get the Lich Bane procs off onto the turret. Very cautious play, but even so, they get the tier 2 down to about 1/3 health and now are changing up to the mid lane.
Well, we're seeing a different kind of game from Samsung Blue, but they're still playing it near perfectly with a comp like this. Just very, very aggressive early on. You get that lead, and then you keep it by switching over to a very safe, methodical mid game. I love it. This is beautiful League of Legends we're seeing here.
It is. And Chunju's still in that bot lane, just calmly stopping that split push of Tryndamere. Normally, you wouldn't be able to stop a Tryndamere split push with a Rumble, but you can when you're 3-0-2.
Yep. Yep. Dragon up as well. Looks like they're going to be rotating over to take that one.
Yeah, there's no way that SK Telecom T1 can contest this.
Yeah. It's going to die way too quick either way. Even if they want to get there in time, they can't. And suddenly, the gold lead extends to 8,000 in favor of Samsung Blue at 16 minutes.
Well, I'm surprised. Are you surprised?
I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, if I had to describe my feelings right now, I think surprise might be one of the top feelings on the list. Yeah. Mind-boggled, astounded. Those are also feelings that I'm feeling right now. I kind of feel bad for the feelings that SK Telecom is feeling at the moment. Can't be fun.
No. But Figure at least going to get a blue buff right here, and Piglet...
Yeah. So there's that.
Very close to his blade, and that'll help him out once he gets it to be able to duel this Ezreal just a little bit better and deal with the Fizz too if the Fizz comes to.
Well, it's still going to be a team that Samsung Blue needs to take seriously. There's still a lot of strength in these champions from SK Telecom, but it's a lot to overcome.
Yeah, and that said, yes, they're 7K gold down, but this split push is so scary that if it gets rolling for SK Telecom T1, they will be a threat in this game if they can start getting some objectives.
But if Mandu gets grabbed, that's not going to help. There's the box to secure it. And Sense, they actually don't get it quite yet. No way he got out. And they're going to have to back off. That is luckiest plant ever. Quan misses with that ultimate, too.
Well, again, they don't really want to overcommit right there. They thought they could get a catch. A little bit of mind games with the ward, waiting for Mandu to come and try and clear.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody backs off. No harm, no foul again. And a turret being taken. And Tryndamere is starting to become a little bit of a bully. He does have his Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, this is the point where Chunju has to be a lot more careful right now, and Samsung Blue has to change up their strategy a little bit. And they're getting close to needing to start grouping and diving. Now, Pawn still doesn't have boots. He opted for that needlessly large rod instead, which is a little disconcerting. He is going to need some of that speed if he wants to get around the map to create picks or to dive under turrets. I'm not sure that was the best option in this situation.
Now they're going to try to catch impact, but that's not going to work.
Yeah, and you're certainly, I mean, you're not going to catch champions without boots, especially when you're talking about Vayne, Tryndamere, Lee Sin, and
not exactly
Gragas.
the least mobile champions out there.
Yeah, so pretty much in this case, his only option is to get a pick and a brush by having somebody face him.
Yep. Oh, they do catch Chunju, though. Dropping the equalizer doesn't help. Bengi flashing over the wall. Chunju not. Oh, nice play from Sense. Really good. And then the death sentence, he saves him. Chunju, he can't back off. Mandu coming in from behind.
That's some pretty huge shutdown
nice
gold right there. They are closing that gap slowly, and that'll be really important for this Tryndamere. And like I said, this is the time where Chunju really needs to stop doing that. And Piglet is split pushing as well. They're getting into that phase of the game. Def going to go ahead and try and true shot barrage the minion wave, but it's not going to save the turret.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're down to 5K gold here.
Interesting.
So they are doing the 3-1-1 split push like I suspected, and they are using this. But Def, they may be too fed to stop it as Mandu just bites the dust.
Not a lot that you can do against that. Ezreal just walks up and takes out Zyra. And that's still going to be a 3-2 turret lead.
So what do you do right here if you're Samsung Blue? They need to get their act back together. They need to start moving around as 5 at this point in time, because stopping impact, this is a great decision from Samsung Blue. They've got the Baron control, and even though we're still at sub 20 minutes, this is what they need to do.
And with Chunju in that bottom lane, I guarantee you SKT is not thinking about a Baron right now.
Oh, I think they are. They're the wars coming down. They see it now. but it's going to die before they can get there.
They should get it. Baker trying to get there in time.
Nice box.
Steal it. Very nice. Good zone there.
Yeah, covering that entire ramp to make sure there was
Baker gets jumped on. There we go. Explosive cast pushing Pawn away. In the meantime, he actually gets it. Baker with the kill.
And that's where you want boots, Noah.
Yep, pretty much. Hard to find boots that fit Fizz, though. That is something to consider.
Yeah.
He's got those, like, sort of
Flippers.
amphibian feet. Yep. Can't blame him.
Yeah, good use of Equalizer, though, to get him off the turret. However, Pawn finally picking up some boots here. That'll give him a little bit of help. Wow, Piglet going nuts.
Yeah, no kidding. Nearly dies to the turret right there. They got to be careful. Deptitude gets a ton of damage. Impact in trouble. Has to pop the ultimate to stay alive there. And now we've got a good push coming from Samsung Blue. A lot of low health members on SK Telecom. They need to be careful.
Yeah, they do. Pawn now coming out and returning to the lane. So Samsung Blue taking over control of that jungle again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, the Baron call was a really good one from Samsung Blue right there.
Oh, definitely.
When you're dealing with this split pushing situation, you've got to do the 5-man objectives to counteract that pressure. And that'll just give them a lot more siege and diving potential here moving forward, which is exactly what they need.
They could grab a dragon here fairly soon if they want to. It's going to be up in just a little bit, but for now, grouping up in that mid lane, aside from Chunju is again pushing that bot lane before recalling.
Yeah, look at this too. They're just trying to power up Piglet right now.
Yeah.
He's been farming empty lanes for most of this game so far as he struggles to get some items.
It's going to be tough to catch Impact. He should be able to get out of this unless he gets hit by the Cocoon. Is he going to? There's the sweat. Dodges the Death Sentence. The Cocoon connects though. There's the Flame bringing him in. Pawn going in on everything there. Baker can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's so worth it to trade your support, though, to stop that split push from Tryndamere. We see Impact going for that static shift next, of course, just to give him that extra little pushing power.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah, Chunju going for the Abyssal Scepter next, and that's going to be extra nasty. Piglet!
Equalizer comes out. Piglet a little bit caught here. Nice condemn. Pushes back Pawn. They're going to go in on a Binky, though. True Shot Barrage coming down. They get that catch. This 2-2 turret taking a little bit of damage. The siege broken, but not before they lose another member.
Now, this is excellent play from Samsung Blue. Again, this is how you stop the split push. You constantly just go ahead, dive those turrets, take somebody out, and make sure that the lanes are pushed. They took out the main split pusher. He does have static shift now, so he's getting scarier. But even so, Samsung Blue, with some great play calling here, just shut down the team composition threat from SK Telecom T1.
Yeah. Piglet still with no kill, 3-0. And 30 CS down. It's been a tough game for him.
Yeah, so Samsung Blue has the lane push in their favor right now. This will give them some time to go back and spend the gold from the kills that they got before reapplying pressure. And if they can constantly 5-man the Tryndamere, they'll be in really good shape. In fact, not even split pushing right now.
No. Just kind of hanging out. Doesn't want to get that nice, clean uniform messy.
He does look rather regal.
He does. It's true. Man, the Mystic shots coming out of depth are going to be doing so much damage right now.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Well, it's looking grim for SK Telecom T1.
It is. The split push has been neutralized for now anyway.
Yeah, they have to be very careful, of course, about this early Baron buff. Chunju going back into that bottom lane, and Impact will respond by trying to shove out top.
Yeah, they may just want to even be for a moment while they push mid. We'll see.
Yeah, so the problem for Samsung Blue right now is that these base turrets are very strong, and it will be, or the second turrets rather, it will be difficult this early in the game to dive as effectively because they don't have the levels in items quite yet in order to be that effective or that tanky underneath the turrets. And their comp is actually quite bad at sieging. It's really only good at diving with Rumble and Fizz. You want to use the Equalizer to get the damage on and then follow up with the Fizz, but they're able to zone out right there. Nice use coming from behind.
Yeah, they'll get that turret either way, just kind of muscling their way into there.
Yeah, that was a really good decision, but Impact on a roll with a big minion wave up in the top lane. They're going to try and base race it probably. It's really their only hope.
Yeah, they really need to get this inhibitor. We'll see if they can. Here we go, explosive cast, pushes Spirit away. Aside from that, not doing a whole lot. Piglet gets jumped on. Def getting that kill as well. Actually, they grab Gragas as well. Faker in big trouble. Gets out of the box, but he's still so low. Def going in for that kill. Chunju steals it, though, and that is going to be a turret and probably an inhibitor as well as Mondu goes down. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Impact still just split pushing the top lane. If they can trade inhibitor for inhibitor, there are worse things. And actually, Impact is winning the inhibitor race right now.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, the fight bought SK Telecom some time, and they're going to trade inhibitor for inhibitor, it looks like.
Yeah, this is definitely A-OK for SK Telecom T1.
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting game. Even with the massive gold lead, SK Telecom T1 still at least keeping themselves in the game.
It's one of the frustrating things about playing against the Tryndamere.
Yeah. He is one-dimensional, but he is really good in that one dimension.
Yeah, that one dimension is pretty strong. And he's going to leave a ward there and just go ahead and back.
Yeah, smart move. We'll see how much gold he's managed to pick up and what his next item is going to be.
Yeah. Wow. What a game. All right, let's take a look at that fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly it. You just need to get the dives in right there. Oh, Spirit. Max range, Zyra passive.
Nice.
For the kill.
That's awesome. All right, well, lanes getting pushed back by Samsung Blue now.
Yeah, 30 seconds until Baron, and SK Telecom T1 has the vision advantage right now.
Yep.
They were smart to use their time right after getting up in order to take that out. But it'll be cleared relatively quickly right there. Some hope from Faker. Faker at least has gotten a lot of farm this game and a couple of kills, so he does have that death cap already. His damage pretty significant.
Yep. They try to protect that vision ward. Oh, Def gets caught a little bit. Can they get the kill? There's the armor going down. Cleanse from Piglet doesn't help. Def is just so strong right now. Yeah, Piglet cannot duel Def. He's 0-5-0 now against a 7-1-4 Ezreal.
Yeah, especially with the Blade of the Ruined King that Def picked up as well,
yeah.
Which is really smart because that's an answer to the split pushing the Vayne.
Yep. Oh, Pawn fighting Impact. He's going to have to back off. Uses that ult. Disengage a bit.
Yeah, Pawn is not the man who's going to be able to stop this split push, that's for sure. I mean, really, there's nobody who can at this point.
Yep. They just have to push harder. Well, we'll see if they can get the Baron.
Well, with Piglet coming back up so soon, fortunately, he's not very high in terms of levels yet.
Yeah. Now, Pawn can clear the wave, and he does have super
Pawn needs to be very careful about this, however, because he doesn't have an ult.
And
Impact can ult in him.
There's the Sonya's. All right, they're actually waiting for Spirit. There we go, he flashes. Gets a slow on Impact. There's the Cocoon. Can they take him out? Impact gets his ultimate popped in. Bengi coming in. There's the repel. And they're going to come down again. Impact trying to get away. They do stop the split push, though. No Baron, though, for Samsung Blue during all of that.
No, they had to. That's the problem with this Tryndamere, though, is they have to commit multiple champions in order to stop him.
Yeah.
And even then, he's just going to lifesteal back up with that Blade of the Ruined King on every wave. And it's incredibly annoying how many summoners, how many ultimates you have to use in order to shut him down.
Yep. Already gaining that health back. Man, what a close game.
Yeah, it's funny that we're saying what a close game with a 10K gold difference, but this is, gold difference isn't everything in League of Legends, and it comes down to how is that gold used, who has it, and what kind of composition are you running. And even 10K gold behind, Tryndamere in a split push situation is going to be a thorn in your side, as we're seeing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, to be fair, Impact has nearly as much gold as Chunju does. He's only about a K behind.
Yep.
Okay, well, he's coming back. He's nearly got that last Whisper as well, and once he gets that, it's going to be even harder for Pawn to stop him. That Sonya's Hourglass not going to be doing much.
Nope. Just delaying the inevitable, really.
Yeah. Okay, well, Pawn coming back down. He's trying to go toe-to-toe again. He knows that Undying Rage is still on cooldown, and that is going to make Impact a little more reluctant.
Ooh, Sense coming down as well. Can they get the death sentence here? Piglet is there, as well as Bengi. Yeah, they need to be really careful not to go in on that one.
Just using the chicken yell.
Yep.
Poultry shout.
Poultry shout. Which came first? Tryndamere or his chicken shout? And another dragon being taken by Samsung Blue. So they do maintain that gold lead for the most part, at least.
Yeah, the longer SK Telecom T1 can stretch this one out, the better they're going to be in a really good position. So
Yep.
Samsung Blue has to be a little bit more aggressive about closing this game at this point in time. They need to just keep diving, keep that 5-man going, and stop worrying so much.
Yep.
Now they are taking control over that Baron pit again, and they may choose the 5-man Baron.
Well, we'll see. Coming in, there's the explosive cast. They try to jump onto Faker, and they will catch him. There's the ultimate from Pawn as well. Faker not quite able to take out Spirit.
Yeah, getting caught there in the mid lane, but that's not going to stop the pushing. And Tryndamere able to push through the super creep waves in order to take out another turret.
Insane. They're just going to go right for Baron on this one. Chunju trying to stop him. He's going to be able to clear the wave, but it's 5 turrets to 5 right now. Bengi coming over the wall. There's the box. They do get a kill on him. Mandu in big trouble as well. This could mean a big, strong push coming in for Samsung Blue.
I really would have preferred to see Caitlyn this game, but we're not going to get it. An Impact getting low. That Rylai's doing a lot of work on this Rumble. Impact.
Oh, he needs to run. There's a flash from the wall. He gets him. Nice duel from Chunju, and a Baron being taken. Spirit very low health right now. This may not be the best Baron idea ever. It looks like it'll barely go down, though. Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah, but with so many members, except for Piglet down, everyone on SK Telecom T1 dead, that will be another Baron, and they will have a really good opportunity here just to clear out their base. Their inhibitor is back up, and then they can go and just 5-man SK Telecom T1. They have a good window of opportunity right now.
You know, it all comes down to that Rumble that got the really good lead against Tryndamere in the early game. He's been able to stay ahead enough on items all game to go toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah, that Rylai's was absolutely critical to winning that duel right there. Able to keep Tryndamere burning on top of the equalizer, especially with that Leandri's Torment as well.
Yep.
And here we go, Pawn heading back. Healing up, he's got the home guard boots and zips out into the lane.
Try to push that one up a little bit. It's already pushed up, but more the merrier, I guess. And in the meantime, tier 2 mid turret.
Samsung Blue needs to be much more decisive right now.
They're a bit too spread out.
Yes, they are. With this Baron buff, I mean, getting the blue is all nice and well. Chunju clearing out the creep wave top is all nice and well, especially since Impact's going to be there also. But
you know, there's a difference too between being methodical and being overly passive, and I feel like Samsung Blue's kind of gone over that line. You know?
Yeah, they have a good reason to be cautious because SK Telecom is still in this game.
Yeah.
But they are being a little overly cautious.
Impact wants this again. He's going in with the ghost. Chunju a little bit caught here. He's on the run now. There's the slow. There's the equalizer, but I don't think he's getting away from this one. He's going to try it. Chunju not quite make it. Oh, he actually makes it out because of the lantern. Are you kidding me?
And Pawn with a huge burst as well. Impact didn't see it coming. He didn't even have time to pop his ultimate right there because he died so very quickly.
That was incredible. And here we go. Oh, they catch Bengi with the ultimate. A little bit of damage onto him. It's going to help that siege. Baker getting ready to throw some barrels, throw some casks.
Well, Samsung Blue, they do have that open inhibitor right now. One wonders if they can do a little more sieging in another lane. Def doesn't even care anymore. He's just going to face tank a turret all by himself.
I guess so, yeah, he's going to be fine.
And look at SK Telecom is terrified. They absolutely...
They should be. Oh, they get Mandu. Mandu in big trouble, gets evaporated. Piglet on the run as well. Baker needs to back off the inhibitor very low. Spirit a bit low on health as well. There's the box sense, bringing him in. Nice explosive cast. Sense in trouble. Def taking some damage from the turrets from the Nexus. Actually, Pawn.
Yeah, Piglet won the duel right there with Deft as well. So SK Telecom trying to push out of this base. Lantern ride for Chunju. Spirit is sets quite low, however. Impact on the warpath.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can get that ult out of Impact, but they don't quite get him low enough.
Well, they did get another inhibitor there, so...
They did, yeah.
And a 2-for-2 trade.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, Samsung Blue still doing fine. And look at that ward coverage, too, all through.
Oh, Chunju.
Oh, this could be terrible.
Yeah, there's the equalizer. There's nothing you can do. Oh, except if Lee Sin kicks him over the wall, I guess. Oh, no way. Impact getting slowed. Can he catch him? Can he catch him? Bengi's so low. He's going to live. Chunju not so lucky. Bit of a crazy fight, but in the end, Impact comes up with the kill.
Yeah, shutdown gold there as well for Impact. So that's going to cause Samsung Blue to lose a lot of pressure in this game. And now SK Telecom T1, in spite of losing another inhibitor, they keep getting more opportunities here.
Yep. MVP Blue, we are seeing a little bit of a weakness. Let's watch that fight in the base.
Yeah, watch Piglet right here, too. So Mandu gets destroyed instantly, and Faker able to put some damage down right there. Piglet's going to be kiting backwards against Deft right there. Pops his ultimate. Deft hits him with the Blade of the Ruined King, but he manages to barely survive. Beautiful mechanics from Piglet on the side of that fight.
That was one of the best Vayne mechanics fights I think I've ever seen. Oh, Impact in a little bit of trouble here. Pops his ultimate. Gonna try to get some kills in there before he goes down, but it looks like he's gonna have to make it out. Gonna have to run. He's gonna be fine though.
Yeah, does manage to barely survive with a sliver right there, and a nice route onto Deft, preventing that pursuit.
Just want to go back to that last fight one more time real quick, because we saw Piglet get a really amazing condemn onto Pawn as he came in too, and that's what allowed him to even get a chance to duel Deft.
Yeah, really, really nice. And the Hex Drinker now down onto Piglet, trying to deal with some of that damage coming out of Fizz and Rumble. And Mercurial Scimitar finished for Deft as well. Doesn't want to get hit by any of that Zyra CC.
Oh no. Can't blame him. Oh, Bengi, you picked the wrong golems to go after. There's Repel. I don't think Bengi's getting out of that one. Nope, Death Sentence secures that kill. Whoops. That was just a little bit of a mixed-up map awareness from Bengi there.
Samsung Blue going for the naked inhibitor right now. Should be
good idea.
Easy business in order for them to finish out this game at this point.
Yep. And can they take it? No ultimate yet for Impact. It's going to be up in just a couple seconds, but the inhibitor is going to be dead long before that happens. And they do get it. Pawn actually condemned against the wall, but no follow-up. The ult is up for Impact now.
They are just trying to wait this one out. They need Bengi back up. 15 long seconds to go, however.
Yep.
And Deft just going to stroll right by that barrel.
Yeah, they can head back to that tier 2 tower in the mid lane. And can SK Telecom get there in time to save it? I don't know. There's a Cocoon. They wrap up Faker. A little bit of damage there. And yeah, they'll just continue to take objectives. SK Telecom, 2 inhibitors down now.
No, what they're going to do now, I mean, they can just stroll through, take the red buff, go back by, and then set up for another Baron.
Yep.
So if Samsung Blue plays this one out logically, they should be heading to the finals here of WCG Korea in a stunning upset.
No kidding. Stunning doesn't begin to describe it. I mean, this is SK Telecom team that, less than a month ago now won the World Championship.
Try like 10 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. Way less than a month ago.
All right, well, buffs are secured. Pong grabs the blue, hops over the wall, and the Baron setup will commence as soon as we can see Sense getting there with an Oracles. And wow, he is just loaded on that support, finishing Shirelia's Reverie as we reach nearly the 40-minute mark in this game.
Yeah. And Shirelia's is a pretty good buy. Definitely want to be able to disengage a little bit. Outrun that Tryndamere if you need to. There's a Baron. Yeah. Down for Samsung Blue.
MVP Blue, or Samsung Blue rather. I'm doing it too.
I know, man. It's hard not to.
Yeah, Blue.
They've been MVP for so long.
Able to take that so quickly. They just have a tremendous amount of damage right now.
Yeah. It's like if the Green Bay Packers suddenly became like the Milwaukee Packers. I could never handle that. Oh, Faker nearly grabbed by the Death Sentence. Guess I'd have to go back in time.
Okay, well, some at least good zoning here, and the top inhibitor is back up. So Samsung Blue rightfully going to go ahead and rotate over to the side.
Ooh, lots of damage onto him. That's going to be another dead inhibitor, no problem. And there it is. They actually get the ult onto Mandu. Playful Trickster coming in, and there's the Zonius after Pawn gets the kill. Impact jumps on top of Faker right there as well. Another Zonius from Chunju. Zonius all over the place. Impact pops the ultimate, just trying to get as much damage done as he can, and it's quite a bit, but not enough. And there we go. Bengi, nearly the last man standing. Now it's Faker. That is it, appropriately. Faker, the last man standing, the last wall, the last line of defense, but ultimately it is going to be a 2-0 for Samsung Blue. They defeat the League of Legends Season 3 World Champions in style. Wow.
That is
this real life?
An insane upset here at WCG Korea.
Yeah.
2-0 from Samsung Blue, a team that is historically done quite poorly in Champions, but showing that they've used the offseason to the utmost.
I guess
and
so.
Their roster changes have been very effective. Pawn with an insanely strong showing in the mid lane against Faker. Wow.
Man, that was really, really impressive. And again, just stunned looks on the faces of SK Telecom. They don't know how to handle it.
Well,
Can't blame them.
they will not be representing Korea
No, I guess not.
at the World Cyber Games, and maybe it'll be Samsung Blue. Wouldn't that be a shocker?
Well, I don't know. I mean, think about the season where we saw MVP Ozone come up out of seemingly nowhere, take out Blaze in the finals. I feel like we're seeing something a bit similar here from their sister team, Blue.
Well, and remember too, again, Samsung Blue has now defeated both SK Telecom T1 and the KT Bullets, generally thought of heading into this tournament as the two strongest teams here in Korea, and they've completed the one